Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Just as everyone has a unique fingerprint, every student has an individual learning style. Chances are not all of the students understand a subject in the same way or share the same level of ability. So how can you better deliver your lessons to reach everyone in class? Consider differentiated instruction. It is a method you may have heard about but haven't explored, which is why you are here. In this video, learn exactly what it means, how it works, and what are the pros and cons. I am Asif Pervaiz, founder of Math Education Foundation Dubai. So let's start. Differentiated instruction as factoring students' individual learning styles and levels of readiness first before designing a lesson plan. Research on the effectiveness of differentiation shows this method benefits a wide range of students, from those with learning disabilities to those who are considered high ability. Differentiating instruction may mean teaching the same material to all students using a variety of instructional strategies, or it may require a teacher to deliver lessons at varying levels of difficulty based on the ability of each student. Teachers who practice differentiation in the classroom may design lessons based on individuals' learning styles, group students by shared interest, topic, or ability for assignments. Assess students' learning using formative assessment. Manage the classroom to create a safe and supportive environment. Continually assess and adjust lesson content to meet students' needs. Now guys, let's try to know the history of differentiated instruction. The roots of differentiated instruction go all the way back to the days of the one-room schoolhouse, where one teacher had students of all ages in one classroom. As the educational system changed to grading schools, it was assumed that children of the same age learned similarly. However, in 1912, achievement tests were introduced and the scores revealed the gaps in the students' abilities within grade levels. In 1975, Congress passed the Individuals with the Disabilities Education Act, which is called IDEA, ensuring that children with disabilities had equal access to public education. To reach this student population, many educators used differentiated instruction strategies. Then came the passage of No Child Left Behind in 2000, which further encouraged differentiated and skill-based instruction, and that's because it works. Research by educator Leslie Owen Wilson supports differentiated instruction within the classroom, finding that lecture is the least effective instructional strategy with only 5 to 10% retention after 24 hours. Engaging in a discussion, practicing after exposure to content, and teaching others are much more effective ways to ensure learning retention. Teachers can differentiate instruction through 4 ways. Number 1, content. Number 2, process. Number 3, product. Number 4, learning environment. Number 1, content. As you already know, fundamental lesson content should cover the standards of learning set by the school management or state educational standards. But some students in our class may be completely unfamiliar with the concepts in the lesson. Some students may have partial mastery, and some students may already be familiar with the content before the lesson begins. What you could do is to differentiate the content by designing activities for groups of students that cover various levels of Bloom's taxonomy. Now, before we proceed, let's have a brief overview of the Bloom's taxonomy. It's a classification of levels of intellect behavior, going from low order thinking skills to higher order thinking skills. The 6 levels are remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. We can divide these levels into 3 parts. Students who are unfamiliar with the lesson could be required to complete tasks on the lower levels like remembering and understanding. Students with some mastery could be asked to apply and analyze the content. And students who have high levels of mastery could be asked to complete tasks in the areas of evaluating and creating. Now let's talk on some examples of differentiated activities. These are the activities which could be used to differentiate the content, like match vocabulary words to definitions, read a passage of text and answer related questions. Think of a situation that happened to a character in the story and a different outcome. Differentiate fact from opinion in the story. Identify an author's position and provide evidence to support this viewpoint. Create a PowerPoint presentation summarizing the lesson. Number 2, process. Each student has a preferred learning style, and successful differentiation includes delivering the material to each style, like visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and through words. This process-related method also addresses the fact that not all students require the same amount of support from the teacher, and students could choose to work in pairs, small groups, or individually. And while some students may benefit from one-on-one interaction with you or the classroom assistant, others may be able to progress by themselves. Teachers can enhance student learning by offering support based on individual needs. Now let's talk about the examples of differentiating the process. You can provide textbooks for visual and word learners. Allow auditory learners to listen to the audiobooks. Give kinesthetic learners the opportunity to complete an interactive assignment online. Number 3, product. The product is what the student creates at the end of the lesson to demonstrate the mastery of the content. This can be in the form of tests, projects, reports, or other activities. You could assign students to complete activities that show mastery of an educational concept in a way that the student prefers based on learning style. Examples of differentiating the end product are: read and write learners write a book report, visual learners create a graphic organizer of the story. Auditory learners give an oral report, kinesthetic learners build a diorama illustrating the story. Number 4, learning environment. The conditions for ideal learning include both physical and psychological elements. A flexible classroom environment is key, incorporating various types of furniture and arrangements to support both individual and group work. Psychologically speaking, teachers should use classroom management techniques that support a safe and supportive learning environment. Examples of differentiating the environment are like: break some students into reading groups to discuss the assignment. Allow students to read individually if preferred. Create quiet spaces where there are no distractions. Now let's discuss the pros and cons of differentiated instructions, means advantages and disadvantages. The benefits of differentiation in the classroom are often accompanied by the drawbacks of an ever-increasing workload. Here are a few factors. Firstly, I will share with you the pros of differentiated instructions, means advantages. Research shows differentiated instruction is effective for high-ability students as well as students with mild to severe disabilities. When students are given more options on how they can learn material, they take on more responsibility for their own learning. Students appear to be more engaged in learning, and there are supposedly fewer discipline problems in classrooms where teachers provide differentiated lessons. Now it's a time to discuss the cons or disadvantages of differentiated instruction. Differentiated instruction requires more work during lesson planning, and many teachers struggle to find the extra time in their schedule. The learning curve can be steep and some schools lack professional development resources. Critics argue that there isn't enough research to support the benefits of differentiated instruction, balancing the added prep time. To conclude the discussion, we can say differentiating instruction may mean teaching the same material to all students using a variety of instructional strategies, or it may require the teacher to deliver lessons at varying levels of difficulty based on the ability of each student. And teachers can differentiate instruction through four ways: content, process, product, and learning environment. So guys, now you are the expert of differentiated instruction. Go to your classroom and impress your students. Good luck.